They came from Africa, brother.
Come on. Ireland and England? Belgium and the Netherlands? Come on. You're holding out on me here.
All of your Y DNA matches trace back to Europe.
Wow.
This means that your original Patrick ancestor was a white man. It turns out that this is just one of Duvall's family lines that lead back to Europe. As we look closer at his family tree, we found another story that shows that race relations were sometimes more complicated than we might expect. That story starts with Duvall's great-great-great-grandmother on his mother's side, a black woman named Emily Wintersmith, who was born into slavery but lived to see freedom. We discovered a land deed from 1868, just 3 years following the Civil War. It shows that Emily's former owner, a man named Dr. Harvey Slaughter, sold her a small farm for almost no money.
It says, I have this day bargained and sold, and by these presents convey by general warranty to Horace Wintersmith and his mother, Emily Wintersmith, persons of color, a certain piece or parcel of ground within the present town boundary of Elizabethtown. Wow.
The land described in this deed would give Emily and Horace both security and autonomy. So why would Dr. Harvey Slaughter do something like this for your ancestors?
Did he sell his other slaves' land? Was there a family connection here?
Well, that's what we wondered. I asked Cece if we could use DNA to help solve this mystery.
We asked Duvall to take what's called an autosomal DNA test. So we're using autosomal DNA, which you inherit from all of your great-grandparents and their ancestors. And there's about 1.1 million people in the databases who've already taken this type of test. Once we got his results back, we compared his results against all of those other people's results.
And what did we find?
Well, we received a list of people who shared a significant amount of DNA with Duvall. And I looked through their family trees, and one of the top matches that he had was to a woman who was descended from Captain George Gray. Well, Captain George Gray is the brother of Margaret Gray, who was Harvey Slaughter's mother.
Oh my God, there.
Yeah.
So Emily's master was the father of her children.
Yes, I would certainly say so.
So this is very convincing evidence that Duvall Patrick, you descend from Dr. Harvey Slaughter.
Gracious.
You descend from the slave owner of Emily, your third great-grandma.
There's a story there.
And you know that there are all these stories of what the master did, but in your case, we know.
Well, it makes me feel, it takes my breath away. It also, it's not entirely consistent with the cruelty part that, was it Dr. Slaughter?
Yeah, Dr. Slaughter
would then convey land to my great-grandmother.
Yeah.
And his son.
Yes.
For life.
Yeah, it defies what we were taught in school or the stereotypes of this relationship.
Right.
So it sounds like they had an enormously complicated relationship.
Yes, as humans do.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We have spent so much of our history trying to harden what turns out to be quite blurred lines among and between people. And probably the sooner we acknowledge how blurred they are and how common our humanity is, the better off we will be.
So how should we